3, 2, 1, go.
Hello there, Blindspot fans, and welcome to another episode of the AFTERBUZZ TV Blindspot After Show. I'm Katie Cullen, with me is Stephanie Garrett, and today we're discussing episode 15, Older Cutthroat Canyon. We'll see you after the intro.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
One way or another, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna take it to one way.
Best dance moves
right.
ever. Oh my God.
So
Yes.
80s. And then, as you know, the child of the 80s.
I feel like we've used this song before, and I don't
okay.
really care because it's wonderful. I might have used it on another show.
Yeah.
Either which way.
Yeah.
That is definitely the theme of our show tonight. As you guys heard earlier, I have the wonderful Stephanie Garrett with me.
Hey guys, you can find me at StephanieG3360 on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
And I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. We have the hashtag up that is ABTV Blindspot. We're also going to have the live chat up in just a moment. So if you're watching live, if you've got something fun to say, tweet it to us, throw it in the live chat, and we will give you a shout out.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's turn down the intro and let's get started.
Yeah.
What did you think of this episode?
There was a lot going on.
There was a lot going on.
I guess we could always start at the beginning, but why?
I mean, luckily we didn't have, like, when we had the episode with Fisher trying to find the mole, we definitely had a moment of, wait, we need to stop this and write down what just happened.
Right.
And then rewind it and watch it again because holy cow, what just occurred? Mm-hmm. At least it never got quite to that point for this one. We never had 5 minutes of info pushed into a 30-second dialogue spot.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, there is that.
Yeah, and then there's, well, let's see. What should we start with? I guess let's just start at the beginning. How about that?
Let's start with Reed.
Oh, you want to start with Reed? Okay.
Because we kind of bookend it with Reed.
That's
I mean,
right.
we got a little bit at the beginning with Oscar, but really, let's start with Reed.
Yeah, with a gun to the back of his head in the car.
Oh my God! And the voice modulator.
That's just
for
weird.
a moment. I was just like, wait, is this Arrow? Are we doing the Masked Vigilante voice modulator again? Like, that's my other show. That's tomorrow.
I know that was a little bit weird, and I really want to know who that is. I have my theories, but I just want to know who that is.
Well, it was a guy in a balaclava with a voice modulator. If you want to hide your identity, that's the way to do it.
Tell him to stop investigating the Tom Carter disappearance.
We're the vampire hunters around here. We'll take care of it.
We got him.
And basically told him that if you don't, you will start losing the people you love, and show him the nice little picture of Sarah and her child.
Yes.
Like, oh, that's not okay.
Not okay at all.
So it's basically back off, or we'll kill them, and then we'll kill you. And won't that be fun?
Yeah.
Then I guess he took that to heart.
He did.
Because he then heads into the office where Mayfair is waiting for him at what is essentially dark 30.
Yeah.
Gotta be middle of the night, which is a super fun time to get a call, let me tell you. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Not a good time.
No.
At all. Like after 2 a.m., if you're calling someone, it had better be an emergency, and drunk is not an excuse.
Right.
Like I said, been there, done that, not a good time. And he basically tells her, well, they told me they had a new camera, and, I just got ahead of myself, and I realized that I told Weller that he has a blind spot concerning Jane, and, well, I guess I'm overly suspicious of her, and I don't need to be. It's just Mayfair going, next time you have a revelation, tell it to your diary.
Right, because she just was not buying it. I mean, even though she didn't really say that, kind of, sort of, the look on her face was, yeah, right.
So you called me out in the middle of the night for literally nothing.
Nothing.
That's great. That's not great. Stop it.
Exactly. So I think she feels something's up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, she is a smart woman. I don't think she would have gotten to where she was without being a smart woman. So.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, poor Reed's in a pickle.
And that we basically bookend the episode because at the end, after all's said and done, Mayfair brings it back up to him and says, are you sure? And he's like, oh yeah, no, I don't suspect Jane at all. And then he goes and breaks up with Sarah.
I wrote sad face down. Why'd you break up with Sarah, man? Come on.
I don't feel the same way. Oh, you are lying through your teeth, dear.
Yeah.
You just don't want her hurt.
Right. But Kurt did warn him. He kind of warned him. I mean, well, he warned Sarah. Did he say, was it Sarah he warned? Well, I don't want you to, get with somebody in my business because you'll end up getting hurt or something like that.
I don't.
That was
I don't
a couple
remember.
episodes ago.
I legitimately don't remember what he said to her.
Yeah,
I remember
something
he
like
told
that.
Reed that he needed to keep his head straight, and Reed went, hello.
Right.
I'm doing a lot better at this than you are.
Yeah, well, now he's really going to be pissed. He broke her a little heart. Bless his soul.
Well, that is what Kurt told him to do.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
Mr. I refuse to stay in the hospital is just, oh my
Who does
God,
that?
that whole thing.
Like, he's
stubborn
just
people.
that tough as nails that he can literally have surgery and just get up out of the bed and walk.
And what I love is just that, for one, how long do those painkillers take to wear off? Because I feel like it takes a heck of a lot longer than that. And that the surgery, especially if it nicked his jugular, would be a very long surgery.
Yeah, exactly.
I know someone who had cosmetic, it was cosmetic surgery. It was not life-threatening, but still needed to be taken care of. And they told me that they went to the hospital at 7 p.m. and that they had their surgery at like 1 in the morning and didn't get home till almost 4.
Wow.
Like,
yeah.
it takes a lot longer than TV says it does. And then you are out for a while.
Right, exactly.
So it's like, thanks, you're not Superman. That ain't happening.
Yeah, you don't have a cape on your back, sorry.
And my favorite thing is the tearing out the needle in the arm like it's no big deal. Oh.
I'm gonna tell you something. If somebody's had a couple IVs, man, that hurts like a mother.
And those
I didn't say
suckers
that.
are in
Sorry.
there deep.
Yeah.
And they are not easy to take it. That's like TV and movies' favorite thing to do. I'm leaving the hospital.
Rip it out. Oh, that's so painful. Even when they take it out nice and slow and gentle, it's painful.
It's like, would you like to go bleed out on the corner? 'Cause
Right.
That's what you're doing. That's okay. Okay.
He's a tough SOB, isn't he?
So we've decided that Weller is a Superman because
Right.
obviously
He's
he could just
bulletproof.
be like, who needs the hospital?
Rip.
I'm just gonna keep going.
And then, and when I was thinking, doesn't his neck hurt, like to turn his head and stuff? He just had to,
yeah.
I was thinking that.
But he was bleeding through his bandage the whole time, and I'm like, you don't do that with stitches.
No,
you don't.
friend.
You don't. No. I've had stitches in my hand, and they had me babysit that thing for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and look, somebody in chat says, Fantasy Stats Guru says, yeah, Weller recovering in a couple of hours was silly, unrealistic. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of agree on that.
I mean, I guess they couldn't leave him. I honestly thought they were going to leave him out of commission for an episode, and
did
I
too.
was so interested in that.
Yeah.
How does the team function without him? How would that have gone down? Like, I would have been down for that episode.
Right. Or at the very least, had him stay there like overnight, and maybe he could have came in towards like sort of the end of the episode or something.
Yeah. Just I would have been completely fine with him not being a part of it, or possibly
Yes,
them
exactly.
calling him and him calling the shots from the hospital bed.
Right.
Something.
Right.
But this was just like, nope, gotta have Weller in there. We are occasionally going to express concern about his bandage. I legitimately thought he was going to collapse in the field.
You said
I
that.
would also, I would also have been down for that development, but nah.
Yeah.
He just goes home and his sister yells at him. Like, okay.
Okay, yeah.
I really wanted there to be consequences
Yes.
for that particular action.
Right.
And there weren't.
Yeah.
And I was disappointed in that.
I was too. Yeah, I
'Cause
agree.
Usually this show is really, really good at actions have consequences and actions have extremely long-reaching consequences.
Right.
And this episode was just like, meh, we'll let it slide. We
Yeah.
need Weller.
Yeah,
he
we'll
has
just-
issues. It'll be great.
Okay, just get up and keep it moving. That's what we do.
So that to me was just one of those things. It's like, oh no,
Yeah.
buck the formula, keep him in the hospital, have the rest of the team function without him. Jane stepping into his role at the beginning.
I like that, though.
I did too.
I was like, go, Jane. I like it.
Again, things I would have been down for.
Right.
And that just didn't happen.
Yeah, well, she did a good job, I think. Kind of when she kind of came in at the end there. Well, in the middle, I mean, when
Yeah.
she came in and started explaining everything about the artist and whatnot, that was cool.
Yeah, but I mean, cue up Adele. We could have had it all, et cetera, et cetera. Let's keep going.
Right.
So we had a painting stolen from an art museum, a painting of Zomo, who is just kind of fictional Banksy,
Yeah.
is what they were going for. Mm-hmm. A graffiti artist turned media darling. And it was a picture of the burning rose, which is one of Jane's biggest tattoos.
Yeah.
So, long story short, that was a trap for them.
Yeah.
They set up a bomb in a sculpture, and they set up more cameras, and they were basically waiting for Jane to walk on scene before detonating it.
Right.
And that is how we got Kurt in the hospital, because he definitely took shrapnel to the neck.
Yeah, he did.
Like, they said it nicked his jugular. Like, no, that's a big deal.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
That's kind of a big deal.
Right. Yeah, they took him away in an ambulance and everything. So clearly he was hurt seriously.
Yeah, so again, more reasons that he really shouldn't be up and around.
That's it.
They nicked the one, that's the thing you shouldn't break.
Right.
In the neck. So
That you need.
Good time. I'm really good at words today, you guys. Words are going great. This is wonderful.
Yep. So what was the woman's name? Zomo? Christy, yes. Turns out she was
the artist part of Zomo, and Eric was the front, her boyfriend, because evidently they went to Columbia together. He flunked out. I'm guessing she didn't.
Right.
And they started it as a project, and when it took off, they just rolled with it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Eric, being the front, was the one killed by this same guy who's after Jane. Took him out, used him as bait.
Oh, yeah.
And then set himself up as a sniper, just like, oh no, oh honey.
Yeah.
And then poor Christy having to deal with all of this. Just like, this was not supposed to happen.
Right. It was just a fun little thing we were doing and, making money and whatever. And
yeah.
Somebody ended up dead.
You make money doing what you love. Your entire mystique is that you're anonymous and nobody knows. And it just... it was a really interesting way to do things. And then, unfortunately, it ended really terribly because of Cade.
Yeah,
Cade. That's this guy's name is Cade.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is my default is Cade Yeager because I'm a Transformers person. And unfortunately, that's been seared into my brain. So everyone who just had flashbacks for Transformers 4, you're welcome. Cry with me.
Cade.
Everyone's like, Katie, no, why? I didn't want to think about that.
Yeah, well, he was clearly after Jane because he was the sniper. He shot her twice in the chest.
Yeah, good thing she was wearing plates.
Yeah.
Holy cow! Thank goodness for bulletproof armor. Don't leave home without it if you're law enforcement, I suppose.
Right.
So evidently Cade, according to Oscar, was part of their organization. He had his flaws, but evidently they didn't outweigh the positives until just recently. It was Jane's call to either fire him or have him removed. It's something. Oscar said something was Jane's call.
Okay.
But then made it sound like Cade was still part of the organization once Jane went into the FBI. So... not quite sure how that one worked out.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that. And then I like the fact that Jane found an actual payphone that worked.
In New York!
In New York City! And she's like, yeah, I want to cancel my order. Which was genius, by the way.
How did they just tell her about that line? Is that the way to get in contact?
Probably. Maybe Oscar told her.
Interesting.
I know. I was the one that did they even mention that Oscar said anything about that?
No, I was completely taken by surprise.
I was like, how did she know how to do that?
And I love that guy just answered the phone. Yeah, Joey's Pizza.
Yeah, Joey's Pizza. Yeah, what's
so
up?
that way, if someone has the wrong number, they'd never know.
Right, exactly.
Can I order a pizza? Sorry, we're out.
And that older gentleman who reminds me a little of Morgan Freeman, which I like.
What was his name? I wrote it down. Hobbs.
Yes, I like Hobbs. I'm more interested in Hobbs now.
Tell me about it.
I'm like, who is he?
He shows up. He has like a minute and a half of screen time tops.
Yeah,
and it's like. You're an interesting human being.
Yes.
Tell me more.
Tell me more. Oh, wait, you got a thing about Transformers.
Oh, yeah, I know. Megan's yelling at me for mentioning Transformers 4.
In all caps, too, Megan. Jesus.
Share my pain. Misery loving company and all that fun stuff.
There you go. Yeah.
And Rufus saying that he's a poor sniper, assuming we're talking about Cade. Cade was actually a very good sniper.
I think so.
He got I don't even remember the guy's name, the initial handler, because evidently he made an early attempt on Jane's life, and we saw that in, episode 3?
Oh, yeah, the bearded guy.
Yeah, the bearded guy.
He killed the bearded guy.
He killed the bearded guy. He was the sniper that killed the bearded guy.
Right.
And he definitely would have killed Jane had she not been wearing body armor, so I don't think he's a terrible shot. I just think it's one of those, drat, foiled again moments.
Right.
So.
And did you catch the fact that Oscar said Cade was one of the founding members?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, founding members of what?
Of their little organization.
I
of
know,
their
but
plan.
I'm like, give me more. I want just a tidbit more.
He was one of their founding fathers. He was the Aaron Burr of the organization.
Right.
Just going to sit here and reference everything else I'm into at the moment. No, good times. So, Cade is unhappy about the world right now.
Yeah.
And thinks that it was a terrible idea and he needs to take out Jane and da-da-da-da-da. So, he sounds like the nicest of guys. So Oscar and Jane decide, okay, we need to take him out before he takes out my team.
Right.
They're not your team. They're not your friends. Yes, they are. Oh my God, we had this conversation.
I know. I'm like, let it go. Just, you already said that. Just stop it.
Like, it happens every episode.
Yes.
Just
It's like he's trying to reiterate, and it's starting to get on my nerves. I'm like, dude, okay, she knows, she gets it. Can we just do the job?
like, they're not your friends is not really a good way to break up the friendship that she has with them.
And it's not giving her really any hardcore details to break up the friendship.
It's like, they're not your friends, says the person that you know absolutely nothing about and don't trust.
Right.
Says your former fiance, whom you barely remember.
Right. You know, remember me in a
Good
flashback.
times. Good times.
Exactly.
So they head to Danny, who is evidently another one of their crew, working at an auto shop, and he sets them up with all sorts of fun stuff, with a car, with burner phones, with long arms. And then Cade shows up and he gets shot.
Yeah. And I got to say, for the car enthusiasts, my husband loved that car. That car was kind of fabulous. I don't even know what kind of car it was, but I was like, woohoo! Love a good old school muscle car.
Tell me about it.
That was a
thing
pretty
was
car.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
They did make a comment about, isn't that conspicuous?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, super conspicuous.
Oh, yeah. Nobody's going to recognize you in that old thing.
Oh, my mom actually has a car like that. It was the car she had in high school. It's a 69 Plymouth Valiant.
Nice.
And she drives it anywhere. There is inevitably someone who catches up to her when she's parking and goes, how much are you selling it for?
Right.
No. So, yeah, no, cars like that are a little on the ostentatious side,
Right, 'cause-
especially for an undercover thing.
Exactly.
And I just love the, you didn't give me much time. This is what I got.
This is all I got. Okay, I'll take it.
So poor Danny is unfortunately super dead.
Yeah.
Evidently he owed Jane one. For what? We do not know.
No. Yeah, wasn't said. No.
And we'll never know.
And we'll never
or we
know.
might remember later.
Later, right? They'll do a flashback or something.
We're gonna have flashbacks of this guy that we met once, absolutely fell in love with, if you're me, because I really enjoyed that character, and then like, oh, bye.
Right.
We've got a really high body count this episode.
We did a lot of dead folks.
We did. Eric died. The poor FBI guy whom Zapata was commanding died, so that Cade could take his get up and be like, I think they have him. I'm gonna leave.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, that works.
Yeah. We got a high body count.
It just so many. What was that? 3 people this episode?
At least, if not more. That I can think of. Was it 3 or 4?
I think it was 3.
3. Okay, that's enough.
And that's enough named characters for a Blindspot episode.
Exactly.
Like,
Other than extra number 3 who died, you know.
Yeah. Because usually it's like, oh, they already killed 11 people, or oh, there was this, or oh, this attack killed X amount. Like, we have a body count, but it's kind of off screen or in the past. This was like, know this person, love this person, mourn this person.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
Okay, that took 2.5 minutes.
Right.
Wow.
Well, they find Cade hiding out on a ship, trying to stitch up his wounds. What's with these tough dudes, man? One's getting out of the bed with the surgery, and the other one's sitting there stitching up his arm. I'm like, ow!
I am more willing to buy people stitching up their own
That's
wounds
probably
than I
true.
am getting
Right.
out of bed after having surgery on their jugular. Oh my God.
Right.
I really hope that we still see Weller recovering from that next week.
Yeah.
We can't have that much of a time skip. And that kind of recovery from that kind of surgery takes a lot of time.
It does.
So I really hope that that's not something where they're just like, oh, well, it happened. He's better now.
Yeah.
Like, no.
See, look, there's a little mark there.
No bandaging and ugly stitches.
Right. He better have at least a bandage on his neck next week. At least. At least one like that big.
Unless they give us one like 2 months later, which they won't.
Right.
Which just, I'm going to get stuck on that. Blindspot is so dang good at its realism and its internal logic that this just sticks out so much for me. Because usually they're really, really good at this sort of thing.
Right. And then we see Hobbs again.
Yeah.
And I wrote happy face. Happy face.
Why would you not? The man is wonderful.
I know. I'm like,
Again,
happy face.
takes you 2 minutes to fall in love with a character. He's great.
Yeah.
And he lives through the episode. Yay.
Yay. So that means he's probably going to come back. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
But yeah, Cade gets surprised by our intrepid FBI team, who evidently tracked him to this ship by an old power plant because of the shrapnel in the bomb. Like, dang, you guys. That is actually really impressive.
Yeah.
And so he leads them through the ship and traps them in a room and then wanders off to do God knows what.
Yeah.
And I was actually really impressed with this little bit of problem solving with Weller figuring out, okay, that steel door is hollow. Okay, let's shoot a hole in it. Stand over there. I don't want you to get hit by the ricochet.
Yeah.
These things have gas. Let's find a hose that'll fit in the hole. Okay, fill the door with gas, seal it, shoot it, and it explodes.
Right.
Like, that was really smart.
They're very, I was like, that's a pretty cool thing to do. You know?
You just don't usually see a lot of problem solving like that on shows like this. I thought that was really creative and I really enjoyed that.
Right. And that was pretty cool.
So, kudos for that writing. That I appreciated quite a bit.
Oh, you know what I wanted to mention? Remember when Zomo, Kristen, is that her name?
Yes.
She was sitting and being interrogated by the team, and what's her name? Patterson was watching her off camera, and she was talking about, she was crying and talking about, her boyfriend and this and that, and how she feels, responsible, something like that. And poor little Patterson's face just melted. I was like, oh, and then Mayfair kind of looked at her and said, because they had a moment there. I thought that was very special.
I think I missed that moment. I think I was taking notes.
Oh no, it was nice. It was just like, it was really quick, but it was nice. It was nice to see that.
Need to go rewind the DVR and be like, show me this, break my heart. Do it.
I know, because I was like, oh, Patterson, she's thinking about little David.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, continue.
Continuity.
Yeah, continue.
So we have Jane show up on the ship and Cade attempt to take her hostage. It's like, oh, I'm going to kill you. Just don't do it in front of my team. Well, no, I'm going to do it in front of Oscar. I want him to watch you die so he can pay for what he did to Marcos. Whoever that is.
Whoever that is. We'd have no idea.
It's a lot of name salad on this episode tonight. So, yeah, good times. Jane beats him up. Because she's Jane. She's wonderful.
Yeah.
And then Oscar finally shows the heck up and shoots him. And then tackles him overboard.
And I kind of knew that was going to happen because Oscar doesn't want to be seen, and because how is she going to explain Oscar? Like, who are you? Bring him in, and just way too much going on. This early
open.
In the scenes, this early, maybe they're gonna have to wait towards the end.
It made a lot of sense, but it was still just like, hello, goodbye.
Yeah.
Hi there.
Right. They were there and then they weren't.
Yes. Again, hello, goodbye. A lot of chunks in this episode was just 2.5 minutes and then this.
Right. Giving us little tidbits.
Yeah. So I guess Oscar lived through that. That was one heck of a drop.
Yeah, it was.
His excuse talking to Jane at the end was, oh, you're not the only one who can hold your breath.
Uh-huh.
All right.
I'm like, and what does that mean?
That means he was underwater for quite a while, I guess. And we see at the very end Cade pulling a guy out of a car and then taking it over. And she's like, why are you alive?
Right.
Why are you alive?
And why are you back?
Did you get away from Oscar? Did he let you survive?
Go? I know.
We don't know.
Yeah, because he told Jane. Oscar didn't he tell Jane that that Cade was gone? Oscar told Jane that Cade was gone, or did he say dead or gone? I'm not sure. Did you write?
I did not write it down.
Okay.
What I wrote down is that Cade lost someone close to him and holds Oscar responsible. And then the next line, because evidently he is.
Right. Okay.
Like, that was a thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Jane points out that the grudge seemed very personal.
Right.
Not so much, this is a bad plan, and more, you.
Right. He seemed really angry with her.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm like, another angry man.
Well, again, she may or may not have been responsible for firing him. Or again, that was super unclear.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of unclear things here, but it was still a good episode, I think.
Honestly, I'm kind of okay on this
it's okay.
episode
It was,
because
yeah.
it had some really good action. Again, I was really impressed with the MacGyver parts of things.
Yeah.
I liked the flow of it, but Blindspot doesn't usually have inconsistencies like this.
Yeah.
It doesn't usually have, well, what was Jane responsible for? Was she responsible for firing him, or was he still here? Or I don't know if I misinterpreted that line or missed something, or if they just really didn't make any sense out of that one.
Yeah.
And then Weller just waltzing out of the hospital like, no big deal, no big deal.
Right.
Like, usually Blindspot is consistent enough that if there's something like this, it's pretty small.
Right.
But these were some pretty big things that the episode was hinged on.
Yeah.
That had holes in them.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking too. It had a lot of holes in it.
And that's my issue, because the show is usually so dang good that
Yeah.
you notice the holes because they're not usually there.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, I've definitely watched and done after shows for some shows where it's like, you just roll with it. That's the show. But
Right.
this one, Blindspot, is just, it's always so on point that to see it miss the mark in some of these aspects, it's
Right.
just like, what happened?
Right.
What
I know, I
Come
was
back
thinking
to us.
that.
Come back to us.
Right. Yeah. Well, maybe next week, it'll be.
Next week does look like a return to formula. We will get into predictions in just a moment. For now, Chad is still on like a delay of 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Always 2.5 minutes
At least.
So, Chad, if there's anything we missed that you want us to talk about, now is a really good time to bring it up. For now, I want to talk to you guys about iTunes, because iTunes is a lovely, lovely thing, and we need to talk about it. Thank you guys so much for everyone who's left a review, for everyone who's subscribed, everyone who's rated us 5 stars. That's how you get our name out there. That is how you keep us as an after show on the air, and we really appreciate it. Yeah. And when you guys do leave reviews, when you do rate us, we will read them on the air. We haven't had anything new since like St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
So it's been a bit. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, if you haven't left a review yet, please do. We would be very happy to have it. Very happy to read it on the air, and you get a shout out, and that's super cool.
Yeah,
Either
very
which
cool.
way, we love you guys.
We love
you know
you.
that.
Yes.
All right, so what does chat have to
I'm
say?
saying a few things.
Miranda Darcy says in the Comic-Con preview she can hold her breath for like 4 minutes, and she likes how they brought that into there. Megan says from her understanding it was Jane's decision to keep Cade in the loop and in the group.
Whomever they are.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
Because the way Oscar was saying it, I somehow interpreted that as, she kicked him out.
Right. Yeah, and he's angry with her for some reason. Or is he just angry with Oscar to get back at Oscar to get to her?
I think he's just angry at the world.
Probably. He's an
Stop
angry
the
man.
world, I want to get off.
Right.
You're all wrong and I hate you all.
Right.
We're a mature human being.
Yes,
Good
he
job,
is.
Cade. So, obviously, we haven't seen the last of him.
Nope.
I don't know if he's going to come back in 2 episodes or 2 months or, the season finale.
Yeah.
Or next season, because we know it exists.
Okay.
Do we know if season 3 exists? Has that been a
I
thing?
don't know. I'm
I think
not sure
we'll
about
probably need to get into season 2 before we start looking at that.
that. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to roll into predictions here and talk about what we saw for footage for next week. So that should be fun and interesting.
Yeah. Here we go.
And
like
now,
you.
your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So yeah, from what we saw of the preview, next week looks like more of a return to form. We have an armored truck that got ambushed. The driver and was it a passenger? Was it someone in the back? People were killed on this truck. And it turns out it was transporting chemical weapons. So, good times.
Oh, yeah.
So this reminds me of what episode was it? Like 4 or 5 early on where Jane had the black light tattoos and it led her to the CDC?
Yeah. Something like they're getting back to those now.
It kind of reminds me of that. So from what we saw, it looked like a return to form where we're going to have the personal bits and we're going to have the procedural bits and we're going to have a little bit of interweave. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think, you know what? I have this strange theory, and I won't say it fully right now because I don't have enough information to go on.
Oh, do it. Let's
Oh,
see.
no,
Let's
because
see.
if I'm wrong, I'm going to feel silly. I kind of think, and I don't even know why, because I don't, like I said, I don't have information on this. Okay, so nobody confirm this for me. Just, I kind of think Oscar and Tom Carter had something going on.
Oh.
Something on the down low. That's just my theory. Don't ask me why I know. Now, if it never happens, that means I'm silly and I don't know what I'm talking about. So don't listen to me. But
I am intrigued by
I
this.
know that because I was thinking the guy in the truck telling him to stop, telling Reed to stop. I was like, could that be? No, that's not him. Because we still don't have a body on Tom. I've been saying this.
His body had like 6 holes in it. He's done.
Or so they want us to think.
No, there was blood.
They could have been fake blood. It could have been blanks. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm just saying. I have a theory.
What are they called? Squibs, where you've got the fake blood for the theater?
Yeah, exactly. To get rid of him some kind of, I don't know. That's just a theory, but we'll hold that we'll make that a sidebar for future episodes. So if it does happen, we're going to get a nice little dance in the studio from me.
I will be intrigued to see whether or not Oscar had something with Tom that said, no, he is super dead.
Okay. All right.
I will agree with about 50% of your theory.
That's okay.
Here.
That's all right. I'm good with that. What
Aside
else?
from that, I'm not sure what else to expect going forward, except long term, we're going to have more Cade.
Yeah.
I would love to see more of the people that... Oh, we did have a 4-person body count because they mentioned that someone else was kidnapped and tortured and killed.
Oh, yeah.
Someone else in the organization. So, very high body count for these people this week.
I think eventually somebody's going to spot Oscar. And they're going to question Jane about it. They're going to say, who's this dude?
I would love for it to be Reed, because Reed has already been threatened into silence.
Exactly. That would be great.
And there's going to be a point where he can't keep covering it up anymore. He can't keep being like, nope, she's good. Nope, everything's great.
Right.
Who was that man I saw you with last night?
Right.
That was no lady. That was a pawn shop sign.
Yeah. He broke up with Sarah already, so technically, they're not, well, as of now, but I got a feeling they might get back together. They should get back together because they're nice together.
Even if he broke up with her, that wouldn't stop people from going after her.
That's true, because she's still Weller's sister, too.
Oh, yeah.
So if they don't get her one way, they'll get her the other way.
Yeah, so it's going to be fun and interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see where the meta plot takes us on this.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to next week's episode, like we said, getting back to form.
Yes.
That's going to be nice.
All right, do you have any final thoughts on this?
I don't. I'm looking forward to next week's episode. And hey, everybody in the chat, I just want to say hey to you guys.
Tom the Vampire and Oscar the Grouch.
That's right.
Okay, thank you, Megan. Thank you for Oscar the Grouch, Megan. That was glorious.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, I think that is all we have for this week.
Yeah.
Stephanie, where can the people find you?
You guys can find me at Stephanie G on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
And I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram at KiaXet. That's KIAXET. I'm also on Snapchat at Kia Prime. We have the season finale of Star Wars Rebels tomorrow, and we may or may not have a special person in studio, so that should be fun and interesting. We also have Arrow. We're finally back. Hallelujah. We're done with spring break. And Transformers Robots in Disguise on Sundays is also back. So, good times, you guys. See you then. All right, thank you guys so much for watching this episode, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.